Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 32, part 2 of the Hub World podcast. Today, we'll be giving our opinions and and we will break down all the news that came out of September 23rd, 2021's Nintendo Direct. I am your host, Mateo, and today I'm joined by,
Hello, I'm Jules.
I'm Gino.
and making his triumphant return to the Hub World podcast after a decently long time away is.
Hey, me, Yakko. I've been away for a while, but I'm back.
Yay.
Welcome back.
Welcome back, Yakko. We missed you.
Good to have you, Yako. Okay, well, to kick this off, we have a story to share. So,
I'll let you tell it,
of
Jules.
course, we'll run through the directs the way we have previously in breakdowns. Like you're probably looking at a video right now of the screen that says Nintendo Direct 9/23/2021, and we'll go through the direct and talk about things like as they happen. But before we can get to the direct, we have to talk about before the direct. So we have an interesting story. So Mateo and I didn't have work today. Mateo had a half day at work. So we're like, let's get together and let's watch the Hub World, or sorry, the not the Hub World. Let's watch the Nintendo Direct. So I went to go pick up Mateo. To give you some context in case you're listening from somewhere that isn't Vancouver, Mateo, I live about 20-ish minutes away from where Mateo was working. So Nintendo Direct started at 3 where we live at our time zone. So I had planned, I had somebody over, and I told we were planning to leave at 2. And that would have given me enough time to go get Mateo, come back, and have like a decent amount of time. Now, unfortunately, we didn't end up leaving my place till about 2:15. Then I got stuck in some traffic. There was a bunch of trucks on the way over. By the time I actually got to where Mateo was, it was close to 2:40, and I was hyperventilating. And I was like, we are not going to make it to the direct. And I was like, there's no way we're going to make it. We're not going to make it. And I was like so worried. And then Mateo's like, don't worry. Like the GPS is like, we'd make it just in time. We'd make it like 1 minute before. I'm like, no, there's no way. And we get onto the road, and there's like a truck backing up out of like a construction site, and like the timer just keeps going up to like 303, 304, and I was like, no, we're not gonna make it. I was like so upset, and I was just so mad. And then finally, like the road clears. We're not traffic. I just booked it. I was driving it, and by the time the direct started, we were about 2 minutes away from my place, and we had to pull it up on Mateo's phone on data. And I was just, I'm like, please Nintendo. Like it was like 2:59. I was like, please Nintendo, please let the direct start late, please. And then it started 1 minute early, and I was like, no. And I was like, it was rough. It was like a race to the clock, and then luckily, it opened with things that personally Mateo and I didn't care about. And then by the time we actually got into my place, I like had it on my phone, like ready to like airdrop it to my TV, and we were like partway through like the first like little announcement, and luckily we got in for it. But it was anxiety.
It was a nail biter.
That sounded pretty rough.
It was rough because I was so they were gonna open with something big that I was like so scared. I was like crying. I was like, no, like we should have been on time, but all these like bad things kept happening, like trucks and like slow Uber drivers in front of me, or like somebody was like slowing down in a school zone when they didn't need to, and like all these bad things just kept happening. And then me and Mateo even like we took some risks because like on the way back I'm like, it says it's going to take 8 minutes, but I think if I cut through here it's going to be a little less, but I'm worried to cut. And he's like, just do it. And we did it, and we shaved off some time. Yeah, it's very interesting.
Moral of the story is
Leave
when a
early
Nintendo
for
Direct
direct.
happens,
Cancel your life.
Yeah.
There were so
Cancel
many
your
people
life,
in
Nintendo
traffic
Direct.
honking that I was like, damn, everybody's trying to get to the direct.
I was trying to get home for Nintendo Direct.
Yeah.
I mean,
anyway,
it is a good pastime. I will not.
I mean, this isn't the first time during a Nintendo Direct where we've just barely made it. The two I remember in my mind are I believe it was the E3 Direct where Banjo was announced. that Riley and I just
Always
barely made
always
it. Like
remember.
we walked in as it was starting, and then the other one, which has a much sadder ending, was when it was the Smash Direct where King K. Rool was announced. That was the big Smash one where they announced like Castlevania stuff, and it was like a Smash Direct. Um, Riley and Joe were on the way to my place, and they were running late, and then Joe's car broke down on the way over. So they didn't make it, but luckily I was just like, no, what? I'll wait for you guys. Like I won't watch it. And luckily nothing got spoiled because that was a big direct. That was a big Smash one. Okay. So now we can start. So
Yeah.
Okay, I'll start moving the video over. So do it like 5 times. So we saw this. Me and Mateo were like, well, to be fair, I was looking at Mateo's screen as I was driving, so I wasn't seeing everything. Let me just tell you that.
We kind of panicked thinking this was Smash Bros. Even though it said Capcom Presents, I'm like, watch this be a fake out, and it's actually just the Monster Hunter that's going to appear in Smash Bros. But
Yeah.
thank God it wasn't that. But we're not the biggest Monster Hunter fans, so that's why it was. This bought us like an extra minute or so while we were driving.
Yeah. So yeah, Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak, the first like massive expansion of Monster Hunter Rise. I don't know, Yako, do you want to speak to this? I know you're kind of a Monster Hunter guy.
We don't know a lot. It's just to show off a new monster, basically. That's probably like the flagship for this expansion. But that's about it. We didn't see a lot. It's just a new area and a new monster so far that we know of.
Do you have
And this is
Monster Hunter
paid
Rise?
DLC.
I do. It's just a new DLC and it's new stuff coming to the game, and that's neat.
Yeah, that's kind of hype. Yeah. So I mean, cool. Interesting that they opened with it. Like, I find like this is a strange thing to open with.
Mhm.
But you know what?
I thought it was a pretty decent fake out, right? Because like when I
Yeah,
when
that's
I was first
true.
watching the opening, I thought like, oh, this looks like that generic Smash Bros. Place that they set in every single trailer. Right?
Yeah, the generic Dark World like ruins. Yeah,
Mhm.
Yeah,
totally.
I thought it was that. So
Okay. Yeah. So then we kind of go from here. I'll skip ahead. Summer 2022. We'll talk about 2022 in a little bit. It's a lot to say about 2022. Let me just say. And then they kind of go over it again. So you're getting a little clip at that. But yeah. Then we get to this one, which is our very favorite upcoming game, Mario Party.
I am super hyped about Mario
So-
Party.
I'm fairly sure that this moment is from the opening cutscene,
Mhm.
and that this is it. This is the roster.
With Koopa up at the front, right?
Well, Koopa was hosting though.
Yeah, that's what I mean. He's up at the height.
I'll be honest, I'm a little bit disappointed that this is our roster. Like I like that they're kind of going with the classic style of like, here's like your typical.
Pretty sure DK's playable in there, isn't he?
Yeah, these are
So back.
we're looking at the picture, right, of like the core like Mario Party 64 characters, and then with the additional Rosalina and Birdo, and like that's nice that they're kind of keeping it small, like harkening back to the N64, but then also adding a couple more like Birdo and Rosalina to kind of like round out the like female representation. Like that's great. Coming from Super Mario Party, where there was like a massive amount of playable characters, I really wish they would have taken the opportunity either to add a couple more characters or to add some new characters. Like I was really hoping Pauline was going to make her Mario Party debut, and I'm very disappointed that she's not. At least based off this. I mean, there could be secret characters, but yeah, but it's looking interesting. And then they kind of go into the maps and they remind us 5 boards from N64. And they reveal all the remaining ones. So like they retread Woody Woods, which we knew based off of the box art, and that's from Mario Party 3. Surprisingly, it's the only Mario Party 3 board. But then they announced literally the 2 boards I wanted: Yoshi's Island from Mario Party 1, and Horrorland from Mario Party 2. And they even introduced King Boo into it.
Now
That's a neat little.
with Yoshi's Tropical Island in Mario Party 64, you could kind of break that map by paying the thwomps way too much, way too many coins, and basically prevent your opponents from being able to cross their paths. So I've a feeling that will definitely be fixed in this game.
Maybe.
Because you could pay that thwomp, like theoretically you could pay it like 999 coins to pass through it, and then the opponents won't
Yes,
be able to match that,
but I
right?
think that's the point. Is like I don't think that breaks it because I think that relies on you spending your money to do that, right?
Mhm. But
Yeah, and it
still,
wouldn't be
it
Mario
being
Party if you couldn't screw your friends over.
I know, but
And to
it
be
being
fair,
such a small, but it by it being such a small map, it did though. Like it kind of.
Bowser and Toadette will move between the two spaces, so like hypothetically, you're still okay.
Mhm.
But
Well,
yeah, I think they chose a good like I still think they should have gone 6 boards and done 2 from each. Like I'm disappointed that they didn't have one more from
Yeah.
Mario Party 3.
I think they're
But
keeping
I
5 because of the previous game had 5.
yeah, but I like to be honest, like I think the 5 they chose were really good choices. Like they
They are
easily
strong.
picked the best 2 Mario Party 1 maps and arguably the best 2 Mario Party 2 maps. And then like Woody Woods is pretty iconic with Mario Party 3, right? Like
yeah,
Not as
so
iconic as Deep Blooper Sea.
yeah,
I wanted Deep
really
Blooper
wish
Sea.
Deep Blue. I would have wanted that so that we would have had all the biomes, right?
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, and then they kind of announced some other modes. So we start off with Mount mini games, and they said there's gonna be 7 different kind of modes here. I like this one. The survival one sounds cool. Like you keep going.
Isn't that just like
Online.
story? Oh,
No,
no,
it's like a
like a
survival
leaderboard,
mode.
right.
Yeah, it's like kind of like a leaderboard, and then there's also like the tag team one. They've had like some stickers and they like told us online play is still supported for like all the modes, and that's really exciting. Like I do think they're doing a good job with this game, and it does look fun, and it does feel like this is just going to be, you know, classic Mario Party. So
I
available
just hope
October 29th.
that I just hope that there is post-release content for this game.
I
Yeah,
do
I'm not
too.
getting my hopes
like
up,
if there's a
but like
5
that could
board
make
map
it,
pack,
because
I'd
like
buy
that
it.
would make the
I think
game
that's a lot, and I
so
don't think they'd do
much.
that.
It would make the
I
game so much better. Like it
I
just.
feel like for like any other Mario Party, post game content would have been tricky because then what are you going to do? Like add more mini games and stuff like that. Whereas I feel like this game works well with it because if they actually did do that and they did drops, it makes sense because bringing more mini games makes sense when all your mini game pool is just coming from past games. So what you're doing is you're actually bringing in like 5 old mini games as well as one. Let's say like they did like 3 content drops and each one was like we're bringing in 2 new characters, 5 new mini games and a new map, right? Like that would be significant, right? Especially when it's older mini games that we're waiting to come back, some fan favorites. Um, they could easily bring in characters because they have like tons of characters already programmed in this style.
Well, they already have the models based off of the
Yeah, they're
previous Mario Party
programmed too
games. Yeah,
based off
right.
because this uses the Super Mario Party engine, so they literally like unless they were going to bring in like new characters, they already have them done. And then like maps would be obviously the best thing, right? Like even if they just did one, I would be fine if they just did one content drop and they're like, here's an extra Mario Party 3 map and here's a couple more characters. And even if they didn't
Diddy
add
Kong.
more yeah, Diddy Kong's missing. He's one that I feel like that's the thing is I feel like I like that they're trying to be classic with it, but I feel like they could have added more. Like I feel like Diddy Kong is one that makes sense to be there, and so is Pauline. Like I just feel like that would have been perfect if they just had Diddy Kong, Pauline, no enemies. Like I like how the cast is like just core Mario characters. It's not like side enemies, blah blah blah. But I still think there's a couple more big players they could have added. Because Diddy's not going to have a role in this game like Bowser Jr. and Bowser do, or Toad and Toadette. So it makes sense to bring him in.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We'll see.
Yeah.
but
So any
I'm
last
looking.
thoughts?
Yeah. Nah, I'm looking forward to it. I am. In all
I'm looking
honesty.
forward to
And,
playing online and in person.
Yep, looking forward to stealing all your guys' stars and just you guys instead of just freaking controller like just rage quitting the game, you just like plug pull your internet.
Yeah.
The four of us can do our best to recreate the greatest Mario Party game ever played.
Yeah.
So
Where I
We don't
stand in
have
front
that
of the
map
screen
to
while
play
the
on,
item
though.
mini games are going, Mateo.
no,
Yeah, but the
well,
problem is there's no the battle
Oh,
mini
that
games
one,
suck.
that one where by throwing the last mini game you screwed Yakko out of the win.
and I won the game. Yep.
Yeah. The problem is that the battle mini game mechanic still sucks in this one.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
Yeah,
is it the Mario Party
Rumble
2
games,
battle
right?
mechanic?
Yeah.
no, it's the Super Mario Party battle mechanic.
Oh,
They're not random. They only happen when you land on a space, and when you land on the space, it disappears after. So there's like a limited number.
Did it though? Have we seen that happen?
Yeah, we did in the treehouse.
Hmm.
So
anyway, yeah, that's
Should be
cool.
an
Let's
option. That should be an option to have regular battle games.
yeah. Oh well. What can
I
you
mean,
do?
like that's something that like if enough people complain about it, they could probably just like patch.
I don't know. I feel like Mario Party is the kind of series that doesn't matter when people complain. Like they often, like this is the first time, and look how many Mario Party games it took. This is the first time they've actually listened to feedback.
That's true.
It's
So-
okay. I'll take what I can
It's gonna be
get.
good. It's gonna be better than a lot of the other games.
It's
come out.
basically going to be the
it
best
will be,
one
it will
since
be.
the N64.
Because it
It
is
doesn't really need to try.
N64.
And speaking of, not to jump ahead, we'll talk about this
Actually,
one later.
I think we should save it for that, Jules.
You think so? Okay,
I think we
will.
should save
I
it
will.
for that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we'll move ahead then. So after Mario Party, we had this new RPGs in the cards, and I don't think any of us care about this, so I'm gonna go fast forward with Square Enix.
Okay, fine.
Yeah, Square Enix announced this Voice of the Cards game. I mean, it looks cool, not my style, some cool art, but like
It's done by the same guy that does Nier. Yoko Taro.
this is one of those announcements when we had just gotten in from the car, and I was like to Mateo, I'm like, I'm glad they put these kinds of announcements at the beginning. You know?
And then this is the Disco Elysium port. We knew about this because some ratings board leaked it. But yeah, it's a really cool game coming to Switch. Critically acclaimed game that came out last year, and that's all I got to say about that.
Yep.
Yeah, now
looks
they
cool. I might check it out.
so then there's a bit about the Hyrule Warriors expansion pass. You see little
Yeah. Bit of a
Go
hot
ahead.
take on this. I do not care.
I don't care. I don't think that's a hot take. I think most people would
Just,
agree.
Yeah.
just put Terrigal
The
back
character
together.
looks
God
really
damn
really
it.
lame.
Well, there's multiple characters. There's one other character, but we don't know who they are.
It
But yeah,
says multiple
um,
characters.
I don't even think I finished this game.
I mean the game's good. I just I'm not super interested by there being more story. Like Purah and Robbie, fine. Like I'm okay with them, and whoever the other character is, unless they're like really
It's
insane.
probably what's his name, the Yuga guy.
If it's him, they're stupid.
Why?
Yeah.
Because why? Like they should have somebody who's like actually worth like saying something about. Like I don't want a character that's already programmed into the game. Like that's ridiculous.
Mhm.
Because
We
there's
want
only
You're
one
saying that
playable
video game
character.
companies shouldn't save money by
Purah
making
and-
lazy choices.
I'm pretty sure Purah and Robbie are one character together,
Yeah,
and
they
then
are.
It
yeah,
looks
and
like
then
it.
and then it says there's one more character coming. So I'm
And
personally
what
hoping
does it take? It says someone else,
just one more after Purah and Robbie.
and then they
So-
added more actions for other characters, right?
Yeah, some more actions for existing characters, but still,
And this game and this DLC pack also got pushed forward. It was supposed to be out in November, but now it's coming out the end of October.
that's the thing is
Oh gosh, October is gonna be freaking packed.
Yeah, October is packed. It comes out the same day as Mario Party, by the way.
I don't think anyone's gonna play this over Mario
I don't
Party.
think so either. I do think again, I'll probably go back and play the story, but unless the character is somebody I really give a crap about, I really don't know. Like I was gonna buy it even if all they were giving us was poo. Like I don't care.
What if it's
I need full
kids
complete
side on?
versions. If it's kids side on, they can go somewhere else.
Good.
But yeah, we'll see what happens. I'm not gonna comment too much on it. But yeah, whatever. Glad it's coming. Now this I am hyped for. I am so excited for Chocobo
Yeah.
GP. Chocobo GP.
It's just Diddy Kong Racing.
Yeah, it's Diddy Kong Racing featuring these chibi cute versions of Final Fantasy characters like Gilgamesh and the Chocobos and Black Mage, White Mage. Like this looks
Is the
so
purple
fun.
the purple thing a behemoth?
Yes, I believe so. And then
Where's
there was
Necro
like some,
Bahamut?
there was some summons and stuff there too. I saw. Um, it
So this
looks
is the
really cool.
sequel to the PlayStation 1 Chocobo racing game, right? Or it's just like a I don't know if it's like
I don't
if it'll
know.
be, because I know there was a Chocobo racing game on PS1. I remember seeing it at a store. But the other thing that I know Yako might not like is that it's got like the ultimate type moves that every character has. That's very similar to the Sonic and Sega racing games.
Never played those games, so I wouldn't know.
But you'd like to make
Yeah.
fun of me for playing those games, but
I am
they're
actually
fantastic racing
pumped for
games.
this game. I think
And
Chocobo
it's a
GP
Switch
looks cool.
exclusive.
Yep,
It's
it
Switch
looks really
exclusive.
cool. I'm very pumped for it. So
Mhm.
then after that, we had the announcement of an announcement. The final Mr. Sakurai Presents is going to be on October 5th. Now I'll be honest. I think this direct, in general, like I'll talk more about this later. I think in general, this direct for me was underwhelming, and I definitely think it could have used a Smash character in it. But that being said,
Oh my god.
I'm glad that after all this time, after this 10-year dev cycle, that Sakurai gets to present the last fighter himself. And I'm sure that that presents is going to be a very emotional one. Like, I'm actually looking forward to that. Like, honestly,
He's the
no matter
final character.
what I
He
know
can
is going to
finally take a
happen,
nap.
no matter who the character is, fans online are going to bitch. But honestly, like I really hope something like "Thank You, Sakurai" starts to like trend or something because like it's gonna be so emotional. Like this is the end of a 10-year dev cycle of literally like think about it
Non-stop, yeah.
like you got to think about it this way. If you think about Smash Wii U, Smash 3DS, and Smash Ultimate as one long project, think about how much like how big of like an improvement this series or like how big of a leap this series has gone since Brawl.
Mhm.
Like Sakurai worked his ass off on this project. He made the impossible happen time and time and time again. Like the move sets of the characters, I'm not even talking about the third party characters, like even just back to Smash 4, looking at characters like Robin and Shulk, Rosalina, and the way he handled Mega Man, the way he handled those characters and how much he wanted to represent everything so
Faithfully.
so like faithfully, yeah, to like its source material.
Like even going like for instance with new characters like Steve, going back and redoing everything so
Yeah.
the character would work.
Things
Going back
like
on
in
every
Smash
map,
Ultimate, including things like turning stage hazards off, the insane amount of rules options and like accessibility options just to allow players to be able to play the way they want to. The incredible the incredible attention to detail, like with things like Donkey Kong's eyes flying out, like all this stuff he's done since that since starting Smash Wii U and up until Smash Ultimate is incredible, and I really hope that this final presents, regardless of who the character is, whether it's somebody who breaks the internet like Goku or Master Chief, or whether it's somebody who's humble and small like Waluigi, or like I don't know, or whether it's somebody
Waluigi
that
as humble or
or
small.
whether it's a Sakurai bias, whether it's like another Fire Emblem character or like another Kid Icarus
fighting game character that he
Like
likes.
honestly, I don't care who it is at this point. I just hope that Sakurai gets to say goodbye in like a really strong way because
What if it is Sakurai?
I kind of want it to be Sakurai to be honest. But I really
That would be the power move.
believe. I don't know about you guys, but I really believe.
Gonna get mad because I put myself in my game?
I think people
It-
would I think that would probably go over really well.
I hope so, but I really believe this is the end for him. I don't think he's coming back to Smash after this.
Oh yeah, like if I had to devote
Please
10 years
no.
of my life to one like one game or something like that, I'd probably lose my mind too. Like Sakurai deserves a nice long break with his wife.
Yep.
Like they should just go somewhere and just like relax because this has been like as you said before, like this has been a 10-year cycle for him.
Iwata's looking down at him, nodding his head.
Saying yes.
Well,
Uh,
I was a little, like I said, like Jules said, like I was also feeling that the direct needed something, and Smash Bros. A fighter reveal would have been like the small little
At least
thing
like a
that
small
could have
teaser,
helped.
like how Terry's
But
teaser was, right?
yeah, that honestly, like something like that would have been really good. But just we have to wait a few more weeks for Gino to get deconfirmed. I can live with that. So
Yeah,
yeah.
that's okay.
we'll probably our predictions
And
that
do you?
we're probably not going to do another predictions just for this because we predicted who we all think the character is going to be in the part 1 of this. So
Yeah, but we will. I promise all of you, we might not do a predictions, but I think we should do some kind of commemorative Smash Bros.
Favorite Smash
Episode
moments.
like a
before this,
retrospective type of thing.
like yeah, retrospective or just like something.
Hmm.
We just
Yeah, I'd be
show
down
them
for that.
our list of characters we thought were going to be in the game.
Our favorite Smash moments. We can show the picture of the cake.
No, we could do. I know it's an idea that we've thrown around before. And maybe we'll do this, maybe we won't. This isn't a promise to you listeners, but it's something we've thought about doing. But we could do that idea of like it would kind of still be a predictions, but it would be a different kind of predictions, which is like if every series in Smash Bros. Represented now could have one more character, who would it be?
That's a good topic.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be really interesting.
Because then that gives us an idea of like we're kind of still doing a prediction, but we're also just kind of having fun with it.
Hmm.
And it's Smash Bros, right? Smash Bros
Yeah.
at the end of the day is a game that people are supposed to have fun with, right?
Yeah. But I'd just like to point out before we move on the particular timing, October 5th. You know what else is October 5th? The launch of Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl. I don't think
It
this
could
is
be
a
SpongeBob.
coincidence.
Could be
I
SpongeBob.
don't think this is a coincidence.
This is Sakurai flexing.
Yeah. Sakurai's taken the he's taken the fire from
All
them.
the hype off.
Oh yeah, because that game's got a lot of hype.
Character's gonna be because he likes to flex on character on just like he flexed on PS All Stars by getting Snake and Cloud
Is
and
it gonna
stuff.
be Jimmy Neutron?
It's gonna be Jimmy Neutron.
That would be really good. Or a Ninja Turtle.
Yeah, that'd be
No.
funny. Okay.
That would be pretty funny.
I'll move along. Yeah, so we got an
along,
announcement of
sure.
an announcement. Okay, and then we get a little bit more. We get to see this. Now this is a fun game to talk about.
Yeah.
This leaked
Yeah.
in like earlier this morning.
It did. I saw that as well. Unfortunately, I
And-
was upset I saw it.
Yeah. Not cool IGN, by the way, by just basically saying what it was without putting any
Yeah,
spoiler
I was
tags on.
choked.
You want to know
I was
what's
so
interesting about it? It is the
What?
first 3D Kirby game.
Yeah.
Yes, and I predicted this in our predictions. I have been a proponent for 3D Kirby for years, and it's finally happening,
See,
and I feel so happy.
I love Kirby. I've played every single Kirby game. I've never wanted Kirby on a 3D landscape, and I still don't know how I feel about it. Definitely looking at this game world, I'm feeling like it looks a little barren, but I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. One thing I can say though is the music in this trailer is incredible.
Hmm. But Jules, remember, like, I feel like I feel like this trailer is purposely crafted this
Yeah.
way, where it does feel barren because they just want people to get used to the concept of like the way Kirby moves in this 3D space.
Yeah.
I'm sure the game, like we complain about that actually a lot with Nintendo games, where like the initial trailers doesn't really wow us, but then the second trailer is the
Yeah.
one that really gets us excited. So
I'm really hoping
Except
that
for
there's
Dread. Dread was exciting right from the very beginning.
Yeah. But even Dread didn't show a lot.
It didn't have to.
Yeah, but I
That's
like
true.
I definitely think it looks interesting. It does look like there's a good puzzle mechanic using the
copy abilities.
different copy abilities, and
And
like
then you
it
got
looks
Harambe.
fun. Yeah, you got Harambe up here.
Harambe is the boss.
It definitely does look cool, and I like the title. The title is very interesting.
Forgotten Lands, right?
Yeah, the Forgotten
This isn't the
Land.
first time that they've done like post-apocalyptic Earth, right? Like the
Oh.
ice planet from Kirby Crystal Shards was post-apocalyptic Earth, and then
Is this
which
post-apocalyptic Earth? Isn't it just
well, it
like
looks
this
like
is
it because
straight
like
up
you're
a
chilling on it like
shopping mall, right?
yeah, like there's a shopping mall, and like there's like buildings and stuff in the silhouette of where it says and the Forgotten Kirby and the Forgotten Land. Like that is very clearly a street, and they're at an amusement
yeah, but does
park,
it have to be Earth? Can it just be like a
very Earth-like society, I guess.
Maybe.
But Kirby dabbles with that, like
Now all I gotta
right,
say is, in the tradition of Kirby, I hope that the other Kirby characters show up in some kind of role.
yeah, I'm pretty
Whether
sure
it
they
be-
will.
We will.
I would love
Imagine
if
a
they
3D
go
Meta Knight
classic.
fight.
I would love if they go classic Kirby and make it so that when you beat the game, you get Meta Nightmare mode and you can play the whole game as Meta Knight.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, and speaking of Nightmare and all that kind of stuff, like you know how like at the end of like every Kirby, like so the Kirby games are like nice and light and fluffy and like rainbows, lollipops, like everything is super happy, that kind
The
of stuff,
lore is
right?
gonna be super dark.
We were watching some other YouTubers like doing their live reaction to this, and one of them really stuck out to me, and I can't remember who said it, Mateo. And it was like,
It was Good
imagine what
Vibes
kind
Gaming.
of eldritch horror abomination is waiting for us at the end of this game.
This game should have
Yeah.
been a Dark Souls like.
Dark Souls
So-
Kirby.
I have one little hot take for this game. I hope there is no multiplayer. I hope it's a single player experience.
I don't think there is multiplayer. I think they would have shown that off if it was.
Yeah.
If
I
there
hope
is
it's a single player
multiplayer,
experience.
if there's multiplayer, I feel like it's going to be more like the like Mario Odyssey multiplayer where it's very supplementary.
hmm
But what I will say is like looking at like Mario Odyssey and now this and like the rumored Donkey Kong game, like 3D platformers are on a return, and that's really hype.
Microsoft, listen right now. Listen to the fans. Nintendo's gonna beat you to the game. You could beat them. Do it. That's all I will say.
We know Bill. We know Phil is. We know Phil's going to be watching this, Mateo.
Yeah.
Bill
exactly.
only listens to Bills.
Well, Bill, you have Bill Trent in there translating from what Mr. Miyamoto's saying to Mr. Phil Spencer.
But
No.
yeah,
Bill's
this
fired.
game will be releasing in spring of next year.
Which is nice.
Yet-
That's a nice
Yeah, Nintendo's
2022 for Nintendo was nuts.
Those
We'll
It
talk
seems
about
like
the
it's the
first
year
little
that
bit.
everything got pushed back to, right? So now everything is kind of
Yeah.
like the work at home is starting to pay off now.
I mean, we'll talk about it more when we get to like more games that they announce, and I want us at the end to kind of talk about everything that's
Mhm.
coming in 2022. But 2022, assuming everything actually hits the 2022 release, and there's bound to be games we don't know about, is
Oh,
looking
yeah.
like probably their strongest year since like the Switch launch year.
Yeah.
Well, 2017 was like probably one of the greatest years in gaming,
Yeah,
and this is looking to like trying to like recapture that.
yeah. So we'll move forward. The next thing that they show is this guy. Little Animal Crossing, walking on over into the cafe, the Roost, and we're like, oh, let's see what the. I said to Mateo here, I'm like, there's no way it can be just the Roost, and then this pops up. I'll let it pop up, and Mateo laughed out loud.
Yeah.
Two announcements.
Wow, are
in
you
one
kidding me?
direct. Jesus Christ.
I love how like within the first 10 minutes they'd already announced 2 more directs within the direct.
Well,
Yep.
everyone loves Nintendo Directs, so they're just giving us more things to like be
I
very
think,
happy
but
about.
no, what I think this is fair because I think they need a direct to really address like, hey, this is why
Yeah.
you should keep playing Animal Crossing. So I'm gonna keep an open mind, but
That actually
um,
gives me hope. Like I said in the predictions, like I really want something massive to make me want to go back to Animal Crossing, and now that they're doing a direct, that gives me hope that they actually are going to announce something that's really, really big. So
well, they
Hope
did
for
say
the
that there was a major
future.
expansion coming, so I'm curious what they will announce because it can't just be
yeah.
Brewster.
Oh,
Like, there's got to be something
Jules,
else.
you did say that, and you told me this, but they actually announced a fifth wave of Animal
Yes,
Crossing amiibo
of a
cards.
yeah. So my theory is that that fifth wave of Animal Crossing amiibo cards is actually going to have brand new villagers in them, and there's going to be like brand new villagers, and that's going to be part of the expansion. Um, because they can't do a wave with just the characters they introduced in this, because there were only 8 new villagers, plus fine they'd have a couple of the new NPCs, but there wasn't that many new ones. So that isn't enough for a wave because the waves usually have like 50 characters. So like I think they're gonna announce like a giant wave of new villagers, and maybe they might even bring back the amiibo villagers. Like they might
Yes.
bring back like Ganon and Epona and Medley and shit.
Wasn't Wolflink a villager
Wolf
as
Link,
well? Yeah.
W Link,
Yeah.
Will Link?
That would be cool.
Link.
And I would
There's
kick out
also
5 villagers
there's
I don't
also
like
an
and put them in
Inkling
my
like
town.
octopus,
Hmm.
and I believe there was one more. Medley, Wolflink, Epona, Ganon, the squid, and I feel like there was one other one, but I just don't remember who.
Yeah.
Banjo
I don't know.
Kazooie.
I
Telling you,
Yep,
wish
his room.
Nintendo would do it.
Banjo
Nintendo
would look
loves
weird in an
banjo.
Animal Crossing style. But yeah, okay.
Just be a
Moving
giant bear.
forward, the next thing is this, which is we predicted this on Mario Golf update. But what was nice is that me and Mateo actually dabbled in this right after because it launched right after. Um, but they actually announced 2 new characters instead of just one. So Koopa Troopa, who's like a staple, and then Ninji. Ninji's kind of cool.
He looks very
Yeah,
cute.
look at that little
Ninji's
Amoonga.
very fast. They talk
Yeah,
about how
Mateo played
fast he
as Ninji.
plays. I played him, and he is very fast. I felt like we played on New Donk City for speed golf, and I fell off the stage a lot as Ninji because I just over jumped or whatever. But I
Oh, that's
like,
what it is. So
yeah,
it's like in Fall Guys.
he's a really cool like Mario enemy that I've always liked, and
Yeah,
it's really cool that he's finally playable in a Mario spin-off game.
yeah, I agree.
Well, very
And
welcome
then
addition.
2 new courses, which is nice. They have an ice course, and then they have like a tropical desert kind of course. So, that's cool. Um, yeah, just cool. That's it. Um,
Hmm.
and
Once
then
again, we
after
need Diddy
this,
Kong in that game.
we saw Mateo was like Kingdom Hearts, but no, it's
Yep,
just
Kingdom Hearts 4,
Disney
right?
Disney Magical World 2. Um, looks cool. I like Disney, but I don't care about this game. Um,
Me?
and then this was the one where I laughed out loud. I was like, "Hey, Mateo, you play KOTOR on Switch."
Yeah.
Oh
The best
god.
part is that it's being made by Aspire, who's also making the full remake. So
Hmm.
this gives me way more faith that the actual remake is going to be way more of a remake than we think.
I don't.
Because if they already remastered and ported it, that means that the remake isn't just going to be a remaster port; it's going to be a
Yeah,
remake.
but Jules, this version, like Aspire has ported KOTOR on every
On
platform. Like
phone.
this was on phone, like mobile,
Oh,
on
really?
PC. Yeah, so like it's like I don't. This is literally like a drag and drop
It's
type
just.
thing.
It's gonna be just as
Drag
buggy
and
as all
drop
those
with
ports.
upres.
Yeah, no, that's
Exactly.
fine. I'm just saying I'm excited for. I'm even more excited for their actual remake now.
Yeah.
Um, and then there was some stuff. What is the game called? Dying
This was
Light.
Dying
Dying
Light.
Light.
Dying Light
Yeah.
2.
Yeah, Dying Light looks cool. I'm not
This was
really into it.
this is a cloud version of Dying Light 2, and then I believe
And
they
they
also
had
announced
the.
Dying Light 1.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dying Light One
Having
comes
every
out soon.
DLC.
Now my favorite. I was very excited to see what the name change for Triangle Strategy was going to be, and lo and behold, it's just called Triangle Strategy, like I feared. God.
It cannot be called that. That's
It
still a work
is.
in progress.
It
There's
is,
no
and
way they're
it's
gonna keep
not.
that name.
That's the
They're
name.
not gonna keep
It's
that
so
name.
That's the
dumb.
name.
like they did with Octopath.
It's just Triangle Strategy now, dude. But
God.
aside from that, it does look really good, and I do think that one thing that this team at Square does really, really well is applying feedback, because they always drop these like early demos and then they just directly take feedback. And that's awesome. And like a lot of the things that they're talking about in here, like reviewing previous dialogue, the camera, like if those things were missing in the original demo, that means they just added them, right? Like people were just like, hey, these are things we wanted, and they added them, and that's really good. And I think this game looks really
Yeah.
good, and I
And
can't
it's
wait
always
for it.
so great when developers listen to their
Yeah.
fans and make the changes. Cough, cough, Blizzard, cough.
Yeah. Well, March 1st, 2022, so that one's pretty soon as well.
Yet
And then
another
we get
spring game.
this. So
Oh,
then they
God.
start showing Metroid Dread, and me and Mateo are like, okay, just don't show too much.
They
Because
already
we
showed
know
so much in the first
they've
trailer. What are you
showed so much of this game. And when they got to the second part where they start talking about the biome and they're like, this is the planet,
Oh,
I
God.
I knew that that was the beginning of a video that was actually dropped a week ago, and it was like an 8-minute video that covered a bunch, and people were saying it was really spoilery, so I didn't watch it. But I was worried they were gonna just show it in the direct, and like during that whole segment, me and Mateo were like watching it, but kind of like turning our heads, being like, we don't really want to watch this, but we also don't want to like not watch the direct, because we don't want
Yeah.
to see too much, you know, like. They've sold us on this game, and
Well-
it's almost like Mateo and I were saying. It's almost like they want this game to succeed so badly that they're like over marketing it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I mean, it looks awesome though.
We still don't
Well,
know
like
how
again,
much
like
of
there
the
could be
game
that
there
one
is.
human that's been like
Could've just
living
shown
underneath
us
a
that,
rock
like,
somewhere that doesn't know. Like
Could've
there's
just
still that
shown us,
odd
like,
chance.
They could have just
Wait, what
shown
were you
us
saying, Jakob?
just a small amount of the game. Though. That's the thing.
Yeah.
We think it's a
I
lot,
don't know
but
if-
it could just be a small amount.
Yeah.
But in this overview trailer that they start with, where they start talking
Yeah,
about the planet,
Yeah.
they do go over a lot because they show a lot of the power ups.
Mhm.
They show a lot of the power-ups in the first trailer. What are you talking about? They show all the type of armors you can get in the first trailer.
I know. They show like everything.
And then,
Maybe
in
there's like a
literally
secret.
the first
Maybe there's like
segment
a
of
zero
this,
mode.
in the first segment
Yeah,
of this,
zero mode
this
would be nice.
direct, they show that you have speed boost. They never showed speed boost at all.
Yeah. Well, either way, I'm excited for this game. October 8th can't come any sooner. My wallet will die that day. My wallet will die that week because I'm buying this and Monkey Ball and Nickelodeon All Stars. But of
Monkey Ball.
course, I'm getting Monkey Ball. Monkey
You're gonna
Ball.
play it for like 2 sessions.
Monkey
and then
Ball-
you're gonna
hey,
not
listen.
play
There's
it
that
ever
image
again.
of Samus, by the way.
October
That's
5th.
so cool.
That image of
October
Samus is really
5th.
cool.
Listen, October 5th is the day of the major crossover games: Nickelodeon All Stars, Super Monkey Ball, and Smash.
Yep.
But yeah, this game looks good. I'm excited for that day.
Yeah. I'm actually so hyped for Metroid Dread that I made my Guardian in Destiny look like Samus.
Now
I'm
this
really
is the
hy-
biggest.
I'm
I'd
really
like this one is so hyped. So Nintendo Switch Online, they finally announced that there's going to be like a premium. So the new content with a new membership plan. So this was
New
like kind of like
membership, yeah.
rumored. So like yeah, we're gonna have to pay a little bit more, but like what we're paying for is pretty awesome because
And we see
know,
the
like, look
greatest
at this.
N64 games.
yeah, greatest
Yes,
N64
the
games.
most
I agree.
essential Nintendo 64 game in Nintendo's eyes because it's the first one that they show. Just saying.
And then they show Yoshi's Story and
Yeah,
Dr.
but do
Mario.
you remember the first one they show? Like when we get there, there's also another first one they show when they're like, and we're adding more games down the line, and then they show another game.
Well, the
So
thing is, though, the
every
reason why they
single-
showed that one, Jules, is because there's one that they couldn't show.
No lies. They could have shown it because clearly they have the rights to it. Anyway,
Well,
they
Joseph's
already had
died.
the N64
Jules, I think
Essentials.
we have to show the audience what we're talking about.
We've already had the N64 Essentials. They'll see it.
Sega Genesis.
But okay, Sega Genesis is a nice surprise.
I was very surprised by this.
Such
I
a
was
nice
totally
surprise.
expecting like
No,
Game Boy or something.
And the best part was the Sega Genesis stuff never leaked. People were saying it's N64 and it's Game Boy / Game Boy Color, and that was
Oh
such
yeah,
a
Echo.
yeah, that was such a really great surprise. And also, we didn't mention that with these games, uh, they're adding online multiplayer to these
Yep.
games. So like we can
Yeah.
play Mario Tennis, we can play
Mario Tennis
Mario
is
Mario Kart
still like
64,
the greatest Mario Tennis game.
Star
Like Mario
Fox
Tennis for Mario
64.
64 on Nintendo 64 is the best Mario Tennis.
Yep.
I disagree, but it is very good, and I wouldn't mind playing it online.
Thing is
And
though, you're
I
gonna
mean,
miss out on your custom like your custom characters,
From the
right?
N64.
Yeah.
Sorry, from
But
the Mario
yeah,
Mario Tennis Game Boy.
I
the two
mean
young
that's
kids and
okay.
then the two older like trainers and stuff aren't gonna be in it.
Well, you
Maybe they
never.
put them in.
Hey, you never know because what I will say is so. Well, I'm gonna leave it
Pause
on
it
this
here.
screen for a bit. But you never know because in the SNES and the NES online, they often released versions of the games that had things unlocked. So
Yeah,
it's
you're
very
right.
possible that they could release a Mario Tennis or a Mario Golf that has things unlocked like
Yep.
that.
Yeah, you never know. Yeah, that did not clue into that.
Yeah.
So this is gonna probably be the
This
launch
is the
lineup.
launch. Yeah. So
Mhm.
the thing that I think is the best about this is that it's not just the games are released, right? The games are up-resed. Like those games were like looking good. Like they weren't like
They
Mario
were
64
running pretty
clearly
well
wasn't the
too.
version that was in All Stars, but it's definitely like an emulated quality like enhancement. Like they look good. They are up-resed. Like
And
like
they're running pretty well too, right?
yeah. So I really want them to add Mario parties. I don't think they will, at least not right away because of superstars and they don't want to step on those toes. But I can see them doing it somewhere down the line. Because can you imagine that? Having Mario Party like 2 and 3 online?
Yeah, that'd be pretty good.
Oh no,
That would be amazing.
that would be amazing.
It
Yeah, it
honestly
would
would
be.
be really good. It wouldn't be the same experience like you would having everyone
It's
Right
over,
next to each
but
other, yeah.
but
it's
it's
Yeah,
still
and
still
like,
fun.
and we mentioned this in the predictions video where it's just like the part of the magic of Mario Party is just like seeing your friend's face in that you better frickin' not when you're
Yes.
about to steal their
You know
star.
what? I agree with you. I know what I agree with you. And had this been 5, 10 years ago, I would sit there and I'd be like, yes. I don't even think they should add online play because that's how I felt like 5, 10 years ago. I'm like, Mario Party should never have online play for that reason. But now that I'm an adult and I have so little time and energy to get together with my friends, especially 4 friends sometimes, and this is the other issue. It's not just being free with 4 other friends. It's also limiting the hangout to only 4 people because sometimes it's difficult to do that. I appreciate that Mario Party has online. And after I played Super Mario Party online with you guys, I was like, know what? This is just as fun online. Like maybe you're
yeah.
missing some things, but it's still fun. And so I actually appreciate that because I think this could be a great opportunity for them to bring the classic Mario parties in. And even if they don't, we have Mario Party Superstars, but it would be nice to also just have Mario Party 2 and 3.
Mhm.
Um and like
Yeah,
I just
we'll go into the other games that they show, but this
I
is
just
the
really
starting
want to
lineup.
point out. I just want to point out here that like just like the only game here that I don't care about is Winback, but like that
We
just I've never heard of that game honestly,
never
but
heard of
like
it. Exactly.
you have potentially the greatest games in some of these series here, or at least standout games in the series, right? Ocarina of Time, Mario Kart 64, Super Mario 64 are classics. Dr. Mario 64 is fantastic.
Yep.
Mario Tennis 64 is fantastic. Star Fox 64 is amazing. Yoshi's Story is criminally underrated in my opinion. And then Sin and Punishment, I've never played it. I think it was only available in the West on Wii or Wii U Virtual
Yeah,
Console,
we virtual console.
and I think that game's completely in English if I remember correctly. So like that's a fantastic inclusion in the launch lineup because that was one game that I always wanted to play, and I have its sequel on Wii, but I won't play it until I play the first one. But like this is a really good starting lineup, really solid.
That's
Oh,
like
yeah.
15 years of waiting for.
It is. So, that's the like starting N64 lineup. I believe now they're going to show us the starting Genesis lineup, which is also really good. Like, you get the first
Yeah.
two Sonics, or is it just the
Well,
first?
no, just
Three.
Yeah,
Sonic
first
2.
two Sonic.
Sonic
Oh,
2?
just
Right.
Sonic 2?
That's another way to play Sonic 2
Yeah.
and Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine. Like those games
Oh,
are on
shit,
everything.
Machine.
Yeah,
Rystar is
And
really good. I like Rystar.
another Castlevania game on here as well.
Golden Axe. Yeah, Castlevania
I
Bloodlines.
think Bloodlines
Golden
is
Axe?
garbage, if I recall correctly.
No, well, yeah, it's not great, but it's still.
Yeah.
No, it's there.
Is that with the
Um,
barbarian dude, Mateo?
Yeah, Golden Axe.
Golden Axe, yeah. Fantasy Star is
Rage is
Fantasy
really
Star
good.
is
Sonic for
really
Hire
good.
ruined that character for
Yeah.
me.
yeah.
Like, I'll be honest, I don't care that much about Sega Genesis here, but I think it's nice to see that because that means that other Sega systems or other systems in general could come
Yeah.
down the line, you know?
I'm
Yeah.
honestly really surprised about
Also,
this.
know what else it means? Actually, not necessarily. Never mind.
I'm
I was
just
gonna
really
say-
Say
surprised
that and not say anything.
I was
that
gonna say this likely means that Microsoft is not buying Sega, but then I'd remember what happens after this screen, and I'm like, never mind.
yeah. But I'm honestly really surprised that Nintendo was able to team up with another console
Well,
manufacturer.
Sega and Nintendo have been pretty buddy for a long time.
But Sega has so many, like the Sega Ages games, and like they have collections already. I'm surprised that they're putting games out on this. Like, you'd think that Nintendo would have done their catalogs first, but like you said, this is really interesting because it could potentially open the doors for other things to come. I really want like Sega to do, like for instance, this like the Sega Saturn has that era of games, that platform especially. They've like a lot of those games are really underrated
difficult
and really
find.
critically acclaimed games. They're so hard to find. They've never been re-released for the most part. It'd be great if they put Sega Saturn games out or even Sega Dreamcast.
Now, my question for you guys is thinking about like the future. So obviously this is a premium service and they've added N64 and Genesis. Now, do you think if they were to add things down the line like GameCube or Dreamcast or Game Boy or whatever, do you think that this premium is going to cover that, or do you think they're going to make it even more expensive? Do you think it's going to get
Honestly,
more expensive as things
I
come?
think this should be. I personally think that this kind of service should just be detached from the online. Like, just make it its own separate thing that you buy into, and it's a separate subscription.
So what you're saying is, at some point, what should happen is maybe the NES and the SNES still gets included with NSO, but at some point when they add enough services, they're just going to detach it and be like, instead of this being a premium on your NSO, or even just offer it separately, like it's not attached. Like you can either pay on top of your NSO and then it's cheaper, or you can also just buy the services themselves.
Honestly,
Yeah.
I think they go the Microsoft route and do kind of like a
The
Game
Game
Pass
Pass?
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
just like here's everything, lump everything all together. If you want NSO, you're not going to get a cheaper
If
option
you
that
ask
doesn't
me,
have it. I think they should do like an kind of like what they have with Xbox right now. You have Xbox Live Gold, which is just the online, and then you have Game Pass, which is everything.
but they don't even offer Xbox Live Gold anymore. At least
No,
not
you
at
can
a
still
yearly.
you can still buy
They
it.
do.
You
Yeah.
can still
Not
buy
at a
it.
yearly subscription.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah, they make
They-
it really
they back
they
down
make it
on
really
that.
difficult for you to do it
Yeah.
because the other service is better.
Yeah. Well, I mean, not for the
I
actual
know.
price. Like if I was paying a real price for Game Pass, it's not better. But regardless, like I was gonna say, in kind of the spirit of being the voice of Game Pass isn't as good as everybody says it is. I think that a Game Pass of just classic games is so much more interesting than Game Pass currently.
Well, Game Pass has a lot of classic games on it, but like yeah, again, like
But
it's
classic like this, not really.
yeah, you're not going to get like like these I would consider like masterwork games. Like
Yeah.
Nintendo, I'm sorry, like has the trophy by far.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, Nintendo's catalog is just
It's their IP
It's-
is second only to Disney, and I'd say is more iconic.
yeah, like
Yeah.
it's their games, like they have masterpieces on every system that they've made, and honestly, I'm surprised this hasn't happened sooner because like their back catalog is is basically like it's not like the way Virtual Console was, where you had all these games on this marketplace that you could play on. So, basically, what Nintendo's doing is framing this service in a way where I'm of the belief that I think for the freedom that like that Virtual Console offered was better, where you could just pick and pull what you wanted, but having this clump of games
But you know why they're doing
available,
it?
well, it's they want people to the reoccurring subscription money.
I don't even think
I
it's
think
the
that's more
recurring
that might be
subscription
more
money.
lucrative in the long run.
I actually think it's not, because in my opinion, the reoccurring subscription cost isn't like, I think they're giving us more value than what's worth it. You know, like they could have easily just been $20 for online and that's it, and that still would have been value because all the other systems charge way more for their online. But they did this on purpose. And I think the reason they're doing this is, one, it makes sure that everybody's buying into their online service. It also allows people to play old games, which makes them more interested in newer games. I think the reason that they're doing this is because with Virtual Console, and I think they realized this early, because what Nintendo constantly does with everything, the reason their games never go on sale, the reason that they rarely re-release games and blah blah blah, is because they like doing that Disney Vault kind of thing, where like they keep their brand like desirable by keeping it kind of locked up and exclusive.
Lucrative.
And I think they realized with Virtual Console that they fucked up, because they're like, we gave them too much access to our classic games. And I think the purpose of this is that, because sure, you can play them all you want now, but at some point this is shutting down, and then you don't get those games forever. You don't get these games. Like, I could have bought Mario 64 on Wii and I had that for life. It doesn't matter how long I pay for Mario 64. When 10 years from now, when Switch Online doesn't exist, I don't have access to Mario 64 anymore.
Hmm.
And then I'll pay for it again on their next console, because I won't be able to go back.
Unless a subscription service like this carries over onto the next
Yes,
platform.
and I'm sure it will, but then that's what I mean, is like it keeps you investing in them, because you can't just go back and be like, oh well, I have a Switch so I can play these games. It's like, no, you'll be able to play these games as long as the Switch is around, but eventually this will shut down. That being said, we should move on a little bit. So they then talk about some more games. They, tease this great masterwork game as the first game that we're going to get after
No, I don't think they said it was the first one. They said eventually.
Yeah, and
F-Zero
then
X is awesome. I'm so happy.
we see
I'm
catalog of
actually looking
games
forward to
here.
F-Zero.
And the Paper Mario, I'm super hyped for, and then we see Banjo-Kazooie. There it is.
Well, there's a lot of games here
Right there
Yeah, Paper Mario
on the screen
got,
right now.
Kirby.
Paper Mario and Banjo-Kazooie, two of the games I'm most interested to play on the service.
Yeah, and honestly, Nintendo made the right call. They know how valuable Rare was to the N64 with all of their games. Like, if you look at a best-selling or like best games on N64 list, a lot of those games are Rare games. And Banjo-Kazooie was the biggest game Rare made on the Nintendo 64.
Now, here's a question I
and
have for you.
GoldenEye,
Also-
but like this
Sorry, would you-
opens the door to so many possibilities, because like we could get Diddy Kong Racing, we could get
Diddy Kong Racing would be
Perfect
would
Dark,
be
we
hype.
could like Diddy
Now,
Kong Racing
my
could have
question
online
is-
multiplayer.
But my question is, do you think we'll get Conquer?
Ooh.
Probably not. I'm gonna say
No?
no,
'Cause
just
it's
because it's
them?
rated M. Yeah, I don't think they would do Conquer. As
Do you
much
know
as I
how
love
fun
it,
Conquer would be online?
oh, 100%. Conquer would be amazing, but like it doesn't fit Nintendo's
Yeah, it doesn't. You're
image.
right.
Like they didn't even publish that game, I don't think. So,
No.
um,
Okay. Well, we
yeah,
should move on from
I
this,
jumped up
because there's
in.
quite a bit more.
I just want to say with Banjo, it kind of leaked before, and I wish it didn't, but um, it kind of took the wind out of my sails. But I'm so happy Banjo's there. Nintendo's done
Yeah.
more right by Banjo than Microsoft has.
And then we see
And
this.
I want to say one thing before we jump on to the beautiful trident that we see here on
Okay.
the screen.
So we'll go.
If it's truly the N64 version of Banjo Mateo, it's the harder version.
Mm-hmm. I know.
None of that notes save in between worlds. Nope.
Yep.
You gotta do it. Oh, if you die in
Oh,
Rusty
no.
Bucket Bay, you gotta get
you
all the
don't.
notes all over again.
No, that won't be the case because there's save states within these, so you can save
Oh, that is
state.
true. That's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah, if you want to cheat.
So, and there's rewind and stuff like that. There's a lot of. But
Oh
yeah, anyway,
no. You just rewind the engine room.
Yeah. Anyway, so we see this, the N64 controller. It's gonna be wireless. Looks like an N64 controller. You can already tell by looking at this that the buttons are better quality, and so is the D-pad. The joystick looks like it's like emulating the idea of the old joystick, but I bet you it's a lot easier to move. Like I don't think it's just some flimsy stick.
Hopefully
And it's not
they're
going to
actually
disintegrate
like
into a million
better
pieces
made.
after a few years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then there's the Genesis one, which looks cool. Now
You
I'm
can use
excited
these
for it.
Bluetooth, right? To like
Yeah,
other
so they're-
devices.
I don't know
point,
about that. Maybe. But what I am excited for is I was just saying before we started the podcast that hypothetically, if you can play Mario Party Superstars with a single Joy-Con, you should be able to play it with the N64 controller. And that's kind of hype.
Yeah.
I wish it was a different color. I wish they didn't go with the gray. I understand why they did, but
The gray's the basic one. I would love to have like the see-through
purple.
green or the
Yeah.
see-through purple.
I agree.
So
What if you,
just-
Mateo, we could like cannibalize one of our broken controllers and just maybe swap the shells.
Nah, I don't want to do that. But I actually
I don't know
just
if
want
the
to give
shells would be the same.
the disclaimer that you have to have a Nintendo Switch Online membership to purchase these controllers, and I believe you also have to have the upgrade. You need a Switch Online membership to buy the controllers, but the upgrade is required to play these N64 and Genesis games. So you want to play these, like it would be weird playing any like a SNES game or whatever with an N64 controller. But like, just quick funny little thing I was thinking about, and I was talking about this with Gino. It's so weird how there's a Sega branded controller in a Nintendo box. So that's like that's some weird like Twilight Zone stuff that like you would never expect if you were like a 90s kid that hated Nintendo and like you were all about Sega or whatever. So
Hey,
that's a little
Nintendo can
funny
finally do what Nintendo don't.
That's really funny. But
Well,
yeah,
okay.
Switch Online is awesome. I'm hyped.
Okay.
Banjo
I'd like
forever.
to see the Pokemon the Pokemon Stadium games with the mini games come back.
Oh,
Anyway,
that'd
let's
be
move
fun.
on. Let's move on. Yeah, let's move on.
So okay, so we're gonna move on. So that was a fun little announcement. And there's some more stuff here. I think there's a sizzle reel. Oh no, these are the collections. So the first one is Shadowrun Trilogy. I don't know much about these games. But you know, good for
Never heard of
Shadowrun
it.
Trilogy, you know. Now let's get through. This is the one where I was like, of course. And like this got leaked a little while ago, but I just like to say I've been on a big Metroidvania binge. And I legitimately just bought each of these individual games on Wii U Virtual Console and just played them and literally finished Aria of Sorrow a week ago. And then they announced this collection. And I'm so bummed.
And it's
Bought
out
the entire
today.
trilogy today just before we
It's
started
out
recording.
today. I could have just played now. They're really good games though. Like you guys should really, really get it. It's
I
really
bought
good.
it. I'm gonna make time
Yeah.
after I'm done my new
The first
series
one,
here.
don't play Bloodlines or whatever it's called or Dracula
Dracula
X. It's just kind of like a meatless version of Rondo of Blood and it's more action oriented. But Circle of the Moon is okay. It's the first one. Play that one first. It's not great. I think it's just good. But
Which Belmont does it follow?
that one doesn't follow Belmont. That one follows Nate Graves. But the second one, Harmony of Dissonance was my favorite one. it's like better than Symphony of the Night in my opinion, and it's really, really good. And that one you play as Just Belmont, and then the third one, Aria of Sorrow, you play as
Just
Soma
Belmont.
Cruz. Yeah, Just Belmont. And
Yeah,
then
yeah.
and then the third one, Aria of Sorrow, is really, really good. It's actually a lot of people's favorite. It's actually more of a futuristic. It's set in 2035. It's really cool. But those ones are really good. The Harmony of Dissonance and Aria of Sorrow are really good, and Circle of the Moon is good. I'd say Circle of the Moon is like on par with like I don't know, like a weaker Metroid game.
Are we not going to talk about the game that just
Now
passed?
this was a good.
Well, we just brushed over ActRaiser remake that was announced. It's also available today. That's a really classic retro game that was on Super Nintendo that a lot of people like. So I've never played it, but it looks interesting.
But I'm more excited about this because
Maybe we can just
last
skip this.
week, for the 6th anniversary of Undertale, Toby Fox announced that Chapter 2 of Deltarune was coming to PC the next day, and it did. And I was like, shit, I wonder when it's going to come to Switch. And I'm so happy that it is. Now, Toby Fox did say that Deltarune completely will be 5 parts, but that part 3, 4, and 5 will all release together, and that's when the full game will be out. And that's when it will be paid to like get the full game. So I'm anticipating like I'm gonna replay part 1 and play part 2 now, and then I'm gonna like wait for the full game. But yeah, it was just updated today, which is nice. And they updated the application. Like it wasn't a separate game. Like they just updated the original application, and now it's chapter 1 and 2, which is nice.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, like, that's nice and all, but, and I know like this is gonna like hopefully not give us a massive amount of like dislikes or anything like that. Didn't really care for Undertale.
I know
Music was good. Mateo didn't really like it either.
Yeah, but you know what? I don't
And-
care because me and Riley love Undertale, and so I'm hyped.
Yeah.
So here is the
Deltarune is more-
obligatory.
Yeah.
No, go ahead. Sorry.
This is a real no. I'll just say Deltarune though is like a lot more of a streamlined RPG. Like it's a lot easier to play.
Yeah, here's the obligatory Switch sizzle reel from
Yeah.
that's in every Nintendo Direct.
Yeah.
SMT5 was there, but
Yeah.
that's about it.
Yeah. Okay, now we're at like some new things. So Miyamoto comes in. Me and Mateo were like, "Oh shit, he's gonna announce Pikmin." I'm like, "Nobody's wearing a Mario shirt. Maybe he's gonna talk about like a new Mario game." And then he goes in to say like, "Hey, I'm here to talk about the Mario Brothers movie," and it's very interesting. So no, Illumination's making it. They made Despicable Me, and I think a lot of us have been curious about this movie and more
I felt like this
details.
kind of came out of nowhere, to be honest.
It did. It definitely did. And then he talks about like, hey, it's like officially coming next holiday, which is awesome. I'm excited to go see that. December 21st. That's usually our so like let me just say December 21st. Now that's usually our Star Wars day where we all dress up as Star Wars characters and go take pictures with Santa. I'm gonna say we all dress as Mario characters next year and go see the Mario Bros movie and take pictures of Santa.
Mm-hmm.
I think that'd be.
Riley needs to create a Waluigi costume.
Yep, I'm
Yeah.
down.
So you gotta go as Diddy Kong and not wear pants.
And then he talks about he's like, so then Miyamoto's like, hey, like I can't say much about this movie, but I do want to start announcing some of the cast. Now this is by far the most bizarre thing I've ever seen in a Nintendo Direct. This is the no, it's not.
Yako, don't say anything.
It's Chris Pratt is Mario, the most
Our Lord is
random
Mario.
thing I've ever seen in my life.
Yep.
And like my question is, will Chris Pratt voice Mario? Like, is he gonna try to sound like Mario by like talking like a very poorly like imitated Italian man, or is he just gonna talk like Chris Pratt?
I hope they at least kind of try to sound like the character.
Yeah,
to be
I do
honest with
too.
you, and we'll get into that later with a certain casting. But like, I hope at least with Mario and Luigi, they try to sound
Like
Italian,
Mario and Luigi.
I honestly, I wish like I wouldn't. my dream thing is like obviously they had to have some characters that had speaking roles in the game, but I wish every character talked except Mario and Luigi, and then Mario and Luigi spoke in the gibberish that they spoke in the Mario RPG games.
See,
I think that
I
would.
I don't know. I disagree with you. I think for this platform they needed to have spoken dialogue.
Yeah,
I think they
yeah,
needed to.
that's the thing. But like, I'm surprised none of these really leaked. Only one character leaked, and we'll get to that when their time
Yeah.
when they pop up. But yeah, Chris Pratt, I think. I mean,
It's a very
Interesting
interesting
choice.
casting.
I like Chris
But like,
Pratt.
what if?
It's fine.
Yeah. At the end of like our breakdown of the casting choices and everything, I do have a bit of an idea of why they made
Okay.
these decisions.
Well, we'll talk about it.
I also
But
have that
yeah, I
same
think Chris
idea.
Pratt's an interesting Mario. And then they announced so after Chris Pratt, we have hold on, let's just wait for it to transition into the next one.
Miyamoto seemed very happy with the
Yeah.
casting for all these characters.
Yeah.
So
So Anya Taylor-Joy, who she was the main character of Queen's Gambit on Netflix, she's playing Peach. Kind of cool, you know. I don't know much about her, but sure she'll be a good Peach. Charlie Day is Luigi, which I think is an awful choice. I
Yeah.
hate Charlie Day. Mateo also
From the
doesn't like
meme.
him.
I'm not a fan of his voice. Like his voice is like when he gets really like he can get like he's in the Lego movie too, right? Like he can have the
He's a spaceship guy, right?
yeah, he's spaceship guy,
Lego
but like
movie? Yeah.
his voice when he gets like frustrated or something, he can get really high pitch and like that doesn't really fit Luigi, but I can kind of see what I feel like they want with Luigi, and he does fit certain elements. Like if he plays the really scared character, like the way Luigi should be, it should be all right. But I feel like he's a little too high energy to be Luigi in a way, if that makes
I
sense.
can kind of feel like what they're trying to
Luigi
go
could
for
be a high
here.
energy character.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I'm wondering how they'll interpret it. But then I remember like after this, so like, Chris Pratt, me and Mateo were like, okay, like strange choice, but we like Chris Pratt. And then they announced Peach, and we're like, okay. Like I didn't know who that was, so I was like, okay. And then Charlie Day and Mateo's like, like I don't like that guy, and I'm like, yeah, I don't know how I feel about him. And then and the next one, this is the moment where this movie went from like I'm interested to I'm on board. As soon as they showed that Jack Black was Bowser, I was on board.
Jablinski.
Oh,
I'm like,
my
Miyamoto
God, yes.
referred to him
bored.
as Jack-san, which is amazing.
I'm so hyped for Jack Black as Bowser. Like this is like when they announced that Jim Carrey was Dr. Eggman, and it's like, hey, like even if the movie's bad, I at least got to see that. Like that's what this movie is for me. It's like
Yeah.
this movie might be a train wreck, but to see Jack Black as Bowser, I don't even care. Like I'm seeing that movie.
I am going.
Imagine
I
if
am
Tenacious D writes a song for the movie. They definitely won't, but like that'd be hilarious if they did. Oh my
It would be
god.
hilarious.
Imagine if this movie is such a hit that all these characters voice the characters in the games from now on, and Jack Black has a lifetime gig as Bowser.
I honestly think this movie will be like Nintendo got burnt so badly with the original live action Mario Bros
Yeah,
movie.
They're definitely like
They wouldn't just let someone make them
No,
that make
not at
the
all.
movie with their
Honestly,
properties unless they knew it was going to be a hit. So
I'm really excited to see what Jack Black does on his YouTube channel for this, because
Yeah.
you know how he's doing like the Jumanji stuff, right?
But he might not be able to. It might depend. Nintendo might be a little bit more stingy, but who knows, right? It'll be fun. But this is another good one. Keegan Michael Key is hilarious, and
he's in everything.
He's gonna do
Like-
Toad so well.
Princess Toad.
I'm
Bushine
so
Toad.
excited. And then so at this point, I actually thought like when they did this, I was like, okay, there's no more characters they're gonna show off. But the next one caught me off guard so hard. I was like I thought Jack Black was the peak. I was like, that's it. And then Seth Rogen as Donkey Kong. I was like, holy crap. I'm like, this movie has gone from being like on my radar to like I don't know how I feel to like suddenly my most anticipated movie of all time. Like
Yeah.
it's gonna be so fun.
I really hope Seth Rogen acts more like the way he was like Pumbaa
Yes.
than
I want to see
because like
Stoner Donkey Kong.
I don't
then
want
they-
to see Stoner Donkey Kong. Oh my god.
And then they announced that Charles Martinet will be appearing as surprise cameos. I wouldn't be surprised if Wario and Waluigi
Waluigi.
make some cameos. Some people were saying they were expecting Danny DeVito to be announced as Wario. Um, Then you got
But
these
yeah.
ones, which are interesting. So you got Kevin Michael Richardson is playing Kamek, which is awesome that Kamek's in the movie. You got Cranky Kong's in the movie, and Fred Armisen's playing it.
Fred Armisen is hilarious.
He's so funny. Fred Armisen's great. And then we knew about this one. Sebastian Maniscalco is playing
Alco.
Spike. Sorry,
I'm-
Maniscalco.
He straight up said in the podcast he was going to do voice recording to play Spike in the Mario movie, like
on his
a month ago.
podcast.
Yeah,
My
a
dad
month ago.
listens to
God.
his podcast, the Pete and Sebastian the Pete and Sebastian show, religiously.
He
And
didn't
it's like,
say he didn't say it in that podcast, but
I'm so excited to
Sebastian
see
Maniscalco
Cranky
Maniscalco
Kong.
is hilarious. I'm so happy he's in
This
this
is
movie.
such a strong cast that like I really feel like the way they're approaching this movie is instead of making it like, hey, this is a movie about Mario and his friends, I really think they're making this like Lego movie where it's like, this is a joke. Like the point of this movie is, hey, this is a joke. Like I think that's
No,
what they,
I
like
don't think
like
that
in
at
a
all.
but in a joke
think
in the
they're-
sense like, it's going to be good, but the point of it isn't necessarily to be an accurate representation of the source material. The point of it is to be really fun and funny, and they're not going to try to just like they're not trying to translate Mario from the games into the movie. What they're trying to do is they're trying to make it fun. And that's why they've casted all these characters like this, because like Cranky Kong probably like if Seth Rogen is playing Donkey Kong isn't going to act like he does in the games. He's probably going to act like Seth Rogen, which is going to be interesting. And like same with Bowser, right? Like they're going to give these characters this new personality, this new side to them that we've never seen before. And I think that's going to lend itself well, because what it will do is it will do like what Sonic movie did. Like what did gosh, why can I not remember what's his name's name? Jim Carrey. Jim Carrey didn't try to play Eggman like Eggman is in the games. He didn't try to translate Eggman into live action. He played himself as Eggman, but that version of Eggman was very successful and very fun. And so it felt like something different. And I think that's what they're doing here. Is they're like, we're not trying to redefine your games. We're not trying to make your games become something different. We're just taking these characters and we're just gonna have fun with them and like have a new spin on them. Just kind of like how Wreck-It Ralph did with like Zangief
Yeah,
and stuff like,
yeah.
like in that sense where it's like these characters are familiar, but you know that they're being interpreted differently.
I think the interpretations obviously will be different from what they are in the games, but I really think that this is like going to be an origin story for Mario.
oh yeah,
They're
Yeah.
there's gonna be some really funny
that's why
Mario and
Kong
Cranky.
is in it. So like
That's exactly what I
that's why
was
Yeah.
Donkey
thinking.
Kong and Cranky Kong are in this movie, right? Right? I
And
don't
Form
think
and
that.
Spike.
Yeah, exactly. Like Mario, like Spike, Cranky Kong, and Mario are gonna have a history with each other, and then Donkey Kong can probably be like, "Yo, Mario, why were you a dick to my dad?" or something like
Why'd
that.
you put my dad in a
You
cage?
put my dad in a cage, and then then the Mario story that we all know that has come after Donkey Kong will then probably be developing after that. Like I could see Cranky Kong and Donkey Kong only appearing at the beginning of the movie, or maybe Donkey Kong will be like Donkey Kong Jr. at the beginning of the movie,
N-
and then he grows up and then becomes like a companion or
Knuckles
something,
kinda
goes with
character.
Mario
Do you think
throughout the movie.
now? Do you think that this is the full like core cast, or do you think there's some characters that they're not telling us about?
Oh, there's definitely
Well,
characters they're not
most
talking
I'm
Because,
about.
like,
sure there'll be Yoshi.
and
And
in
there's
the
definitely
movie.
going to be the movie, the game.
I'm surprised there's no Yoshi. I don't know if there'll be the movie, the game. I want there to be. But I don't know if there will be.
I mean, it's possible. I wouldn't put it past Nintendo, but there are those rumors of that Donkey Kong game. I don't know if Nintendo's main
the
Mario team
thing.
would be working on that and a Mario movie game. I don't know.
What if that was the game? It's just from Donkey Kong's perspective.
Maybe.
Yeah.
God.
Okay, well, I'm gonna move us along because we still have a couple more things to talk about. But yeah, this movie is
There's
gonna be
always
really
more
fun.
things, right?
It went
Me
from
and
like
Joe look so excited about it too, and that
Yeah,
that that has me excited to see like this old man who created these characters. So excited to see them like come together in like live action.
like I have zero faith in this movie going into this because I really don't like any of Illumination's movies. I don't like Despicable Me. I don't like Minions. I don't like Sing. I don't like those movies. But the fact that Miyamoto is so excited about this and the cast is amazing and just like it went from like me kind of dreading this movie's existence because like I felt like it's going to be a disaster, but now I'm like, oh my, I'm so invested now. It's so exciting.
Okay, well, then we're on to this one, Splatoon. Which I mean we thought was coming. Like they talked about it early in the year, and it was bound to make another appearance. And it looks cool. There's some really cool new, like look at these robots, and there's
I
some
don't know
cool
if
new.
it seemed like Mr. Squid Research Lab dude basically that pops up later on said there's new abilities and things. I honestly hope that all the abilities in the game are brand new. Like I don't want like the all the ones that they had in Splatoon 1 and 2 reappear because the environments and vibe of this game feels completely different from the all of that in Splatoon 1 and 2.
I mean, I agree
So
with you in terms of the story, but I don't know if that's the case with the like multiplayer. Like, I think the multiplayer needs to bring back stuff. But like the story definitely, I think, should focus on different things. Like the story looks really cool.
mhm.
I like that they're interpreting the story as like this return. What's it called? The return of the mammals,
Mammalians.
mammalians. So like they're talking about what happened to the mammals,
Mhm.
in this world, and
This
so
guy's the best. I love this
what
this guy.
what I like the most about the way that the story looks right now, at least the vibe I'm getting, is it looks closer to what Octo expansion was like than what the campaigns of Splatoon 1 and 2 were like. And
Yeah.
that has me more excited because I really loved Octo
Expansion was
expansion.
such a breath of fresh air.
Yes, Octo expansion was incredible. So yeah, this looks really fun. Like I kind of said in my recording that you guys played last night, I do think Nintendo's on this like second life of Switch now, and so a lot of the stuff that they're putting out, I think now are going to be things that like they already put out on Switch, but like they're new versions. I think Splatoon 3 looks interesting, and like it doesn't feel too soon. Like it feels like it's the right amount of time because it's been 4 years. It'll be 5 years next year, right? It came out 2017.
Mhm.
And yeah, I think that's the right amount of time. Like it's a good time for it, and it gives those new adopters of Switch a chance to get into Splatoon and to like start new again. Because like I wouldn't want to get into Splatoon now. All the
Yeah.
Splatfests are done. Like
Mhm.
so, yeah.
Everyone's
Hopefully,
kind of
some
like
cool
super OP.
Splatfests. Yeah, but I want to see the new hosts. Hopefully, they're cool.
Yeah, I honestly really thought that they were going to show off the new pop stars, but like I
Did
mean,
show off a new character.
Game's still
though.
a while away.
They showed off that character
yeah,
with
but
the blue
like
hat, right?
no, well that's
In the middle of
the
the two
I
sets, that's
believe
a different
that's
character, isn't it?
is
No,
it
that's the equivalent of like your character.
that yeah, because I thought that was like the like the
And
yeah,
the new
there we go.
pose. Yeah, the new
Pose is nice.
pose.
But the character like they Mateo, I don't know if you've played the Splatoon campaigns before, but basically your character that you played in Splatoon 1 and Splatoon 2 are actually characters in the story that like they will reference in Splatoon 3. You're here like the character, the squid that you're the inkling or the octoling that you're gonna play as will be characters in future games also. So like they kind of reference back to the events of those
We'll
games
have
in
to
that
wait and
way.
see, I
Yeah,
guess.
so in like for instance in Splatoon 1 you play as Agent 3.
Yeah.
And it's just whatever your character is, and then they reference Agent 3 when you as
Splatoon
Agent,
2.
I think. No, you're Agent 3 because Callie and
Yeah,
Mari
Yeah,
are
because I said
Agents 1 and
yeah,
2.
and then I said and then they get the Agent 3 gets referenced in Splatoon 2's story.
Hmm.
So
Yeah, and you're Agent, I think 5
Yeah.
because Off the Hook are technically agents.
mhm.
So
Um.
But this is the final announcement from
Yeah.
the
So they
direct.
said this is
and
the
then the
final
Octoling was
announcement.
Agent 8. You were Agent 7, sorry.
Yeah. So anyway, is it okay if we move from Splatoon, or do you
Yeah.
guys want to talk
Yeah.
about more?
No,
Yeah, we're
that's
good.
it.
Both the Octolings are funny.
So then we gotta
Yeah.
get into this last one. They said this would be the last announcement. Now, this is interesting because the first thing that you see is platinum there. So obviously it's a platinum game. But then you're in like Japan, so it's like confusing. And I
It says
right away,
just notice it says 101 on the top of that building.
yeah,
Yeah.
There's a reference there. That's pretty cool.
yeah. So like I at first was like, oh, this is Bayonetta, and then like you see like the tanks and like the military, and I was like, oh, okay. I still felt like it might be Bayonetta. I'm like, it could be. And then this thing comes in. I was like, that doesn't look very Bayonetta-ish. Like, I don't know. I wasn't sure how I felt. I was like, it might not be Bayonetta. Like, it kind of looks very different than like what a Bayonetta monster would look like, and I was very confused
Skeptical.
at what it was going to be because obviously this is set in Japan, and like that monster doesn't really look angelic or demonic, and so I was like, I don't know, like I really didn't know what I thought it was. And then I was like, maybe this is just something new. And I'll tell you the moment that everything shifted. There were two moments where it shifted. So I was like, I don't know. And then,
Really long sequence.
and then these gunshots get fired. I was like, oh, it's Bayonetta. I was so happy. And then
You
he
notice that
turns around.
the gunshots actually.
He turns around and you see this fucking dog. And now none of you guys would have gotten this because you
Oh,
guys
know
yeah,
where the
don't
dog
play
is
random
from.
games.
I get it.
But yeah,
you know.
Mateo, I guess Mateo knew it. That dog is from Astral Chain. So for a second, I was like, oh god. And I played Astral Chain, and I liked it, but I don't want a sequel. And I was like, really? I was like, I don't know how I feel. And then Bayonetta showed up, and I was very
The
happy.
reflection. You see the
Yeah.
reflection in the sword of
Yeah,
Bayonetta.
you see the witch time, and then I was like, okay, thank God.
Or to quote Justin, the wizard time.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
then, yeah. So anyway, then she comes up and she has her new hairstyle. And no, what? Like I liked her new hairstyle. And my roommate pointed out to me, he's like, yeah, it's the same hairstyle that like Yako, you'll understand this.
Yeah, I
But in
know.
the first game,
What's her name?
you know, like she has
The
her
little
like
girl.
daughter
the little
there,
girl, right?
the little girl, and she has this hairstyle. So it's kind of like harkening back to that,
Reza, that's what it is.
which I really liked. Yeah.
Right?
Is her hair
Reza?
like attached to the costume, or does it just look that way?
Going
Yeah, I
under
think
her
it's just
armpit.
wrapped around. But
Wrapped
yeah, there's
around her
some
armpit.
cool new gameplay stuff they show here too. Like I think the big thing that they kind of show off here is like obviously the main gameplay is the same. But then so like this is the main gameplay that's similar, right? She's like hitting things. But then they get into let's see,
got
when's it gonna
DT.
happen? They kind of get here, and then she pulls out her. First of all, she doesn't get naked anymore. She just kind of like uses her hair.
Well, they
is
have to
fine.
like not do that anymore.
Doesn't
because
need
what
to be
the-
naked.
What it
That's
changes.
okay.
Like,
But like, yeah, they got this
see.
kind of like almost like this kaiju kind of mechanic now, where you like legitimately control the yeah.
She's doing the dance move right there.
It's really cool. Like I think this looks really interesting.
Hmm.
So I'm excited to see how this plays out.
I know how excited you are. I saw this. I'm like, oh, Bayonetta 3, okay, and then I didn't really care.
I'm not super excited. I think Bayonetta is the kind of game that when it comes out, I'll be excited. But like, it's nice to finally see it and to see her hairstyle. What I really wanted to hear that they didn't show was which song they're gonna Bayonetify, which they didn't
Yeah.
show. But I'm
They
sure
didn't
we'll
do
find that
that.
out.
Yeah.
I probably couldn't do that
Like
because
I'm
maybe copyright
not a-
issues nowadays.
yeah,
I
exactly.
want to do it during the direct.
No, but they
I'm not,
still
like-
probably will.
I'm not the biggest.
Nope. Right here at the end. Yeah.
Yeah, and then
keep
here
going.
at the very end, we have Dante from the Devil May Cry series. Is that Dante? That's not
No,
Dante, is it?
It's not Dante. I think it's probably gonna be like
Original character.
a nod to the Devil May Cry series
Hmm.
Oh, okay.
as a character.
Yeah, so
Yet another game coming out next year for Switch.
yep,
I hope
2022
it's
is
early.
okay. So I'd like to. I said I would kind of talk about this, or we'd
Yeah,
talk
pause
about
the
this, but 2022 is nuts for Nintendo. So as of now, we know Legends
Pokemon
Arceus
Legends.
is opening that year. You got in March, you got Triangle Strategy. You also got Kirby coming around the spring. You have Breath of the Wild 2 coming out sometime that year. Splatoon 3 coming out sometime that year. Bayonetta 3 coming out sometime that year. You have
the Chocobo cart coming out that year. Or is that this
Chocobo
year?
Kart, but not as major, but like yeah, that's also
Triangle Strategy
also
will
one.
be Switch
Yeah,
exclusive.
we
Said that already.
yeah, I said that already,
Oh,
and
sorry.
then yeah, but already like and Mario and Rabbids. So like
Yep.
that's already we're not even
Even get
in
shown.
2022, and that's already like 7
That's 8.
exclusive games, and like they're like the least high profile is that 8.
Yeah.
Well,
8.
yeah, if you include Chocobo, but I wasn't really including Chocobo.
Okay, so 7. 7
If
big
you
games.
don't include Chocobo and you just talk about like, if you talk about the Nintendo ones, just like the Nintendo published ones with Nintendo characters, that's
Mhm.
7 games, and the lowest profile of those games is Mario and Rabbids, and that's insane to think. Like, I don't think all those games are like. I genuinely think Breath of the Wild 2 is getting delayed to 2023 because I'm a pessimist when it comes to Zelda, but it's very possible it comes out next year. But this is fall 2021. Nintendo
Yeah.
always announces games like in the year. So like who knows what else they got. But even if they didn't announce anything else, they already have a strong year. Like they have a major Pokemon game at the beginning of the year. They have Zelda probably at the end of the year. They have Bayonetta 3, which is a major third party, Triangle Strategy, which is a pretty decent sized third party considering the Octopath success. And then you got your first 3D Kirby game. You have Splatoon, which is a big multiplayer game. And then what was the other one? That was 2022? Mario and Rabbids. So like
Yeah.
you got a lot of variety there and a lot of characters, and there's bound to be a Mario game next year. There's a Mario game every year. So there's something Mario cooking, stirring.
Potentially
There's
that Donkey Kong game.
there's potentially that Donkey Kong game. There's
What Monolith Soft working on?
Monolith
right?
Soft.
Everyone
Right.
thought there was going to be a Monolith Soft game announced today.
Yep.
So
Like Metroid Prime 4 probably isn't next year, but like we might even see it next year. There's a lot. There is a lot of
Yeah.
stuff. Like and there's also a good chance that there's other Zelda stuff, whether it be Twilight Princess, Wind Waker HD, or like some other remake. Like there's other stuff in there, and like
well, if
this
Metroid
is
Prime Trilogy comes
yeah,
out,
Metroid Prime Trilogy.
that could come out, right?
That 2022 is going to be a strong year, and I think
Mhm.
2022 is going to be the first year where they're carried by games and not DLC, because
Yeah.
Smash is done, right? Like our Smash cycle is over at the end of this year,
Yeah.
and one of the big things that they relied on in directs for buzz was Smash characters. So I really think that moving forward, their directs are going to need to have like bigger announcements.
hmm
Yeah, they're gonna
Um,
need something to definitely pull.
But yeah,
But
there's got to be some other
I'm
stuff.
hyped, honestly.
Yeah.
Like,
Even the N64 stuff, like
no, the
lot of
N64 stuff is huge by itself, but like taking like all the N64 stuff out, there was a lot
Yeah.
lot to be like hyped and like really excited for. Like
And-
I completely forgot the Mario movie existed,
Mhm.
and then that news drop in there.
I'm
made me
surprised
hyped
it
up.
was. Yeah, I'm surprised it was in a
Heck,
direct.
we might even see more like, hey, Universal California is now open.
Yeah,
Like this
theme
is what
park
we're gonna
stuff.
show off.
I
All
believe
the
Super Nintendo World is opening up at Universal Studios Hollywood next year as well. So
yeah, like we could see
And
stuff like that. Like, hey, here's the new attraction at the park. Come by and see it.
yeah, and who knows, with the success of the Mario Bros. Movie, there could be other things, right? Um, especially with the video game like television series being on the like upswing right now with Castlevania. Now there's Tomb Raider. There's that League of Legends show is dropping on Netflix this
Sonic is
year.
getting a
Mhm.
show.
Sonic is getting a show.
Zelda, way back when.
Way back when, but then Kingdom Hearts is getting its Disney Plus show. Like, there's a
Wait,
lot
what?
of yeah,
Oh my God, Heart Bullshit, the TV series.
yeah.
Oh god, please no.
I'm curious to see what they do. But yeah, there's like a lot of upswing on like video game movies and shows, and like I think Nintendo could potentially look into that, and maybe they won't start with something like Zelda, but maybe they'd start with their little things, like maybe giving Star Fox a show, maybe giving Fire Emblem a show. And
Crossing
that's
would
the
be
thing, we're
cool.
overdue for a Fire Emblem game.
Yeah,
We're overdue for a Mario game. Mario Kart, who knows? There's a lot of stuff that can be coming that we like. I don't know.
Completely forgotten about.
Yeah, like I do think Nintendo Switch is on the like we're gonna hit like a pretty big resurgence of games. Like I feel like the last couple of years have been not bad, but they've been a little dry. Like last year was definitely really dry. This year not as much, but still like we didn't have like a really big holiday game this year. We're more having like some smaller things. We had WarioWare, which was good. Metroid Dread is going to be great, but again, smaller game. The remakes, Advance Wars, like Brain Age. But I think next year we're going to get the return of like the massive blockbusters, and that's going to be fun. Also, I'm calling it next year. Marvel Ultimate Alliance 4, published by Nintendo. I've been playing Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 again, and I want Marvel Ultimate Alliance 4 now.
well, I think we should wrap this up.
Yes, we should.
So once again, everybody, thank you for listening. Make sure to like and subscribe. Follow us on uh, Spotify, on Apple Podcasts, on Google Podcasts. We have a lot of growth on there. It's really nice to see everyone tune in and download us on all these different platforms. We have a lot of stuff in the works. Uh, really excited. New series are going to be starting soon.
Over on
And
YouTube.
yeah, on YouTube, that I believe, yeah, that will be exclusive content to YouTube. So make sure to check us out on YouTube as well, like I said earlier. And then a couple more collaborative topics are going to be in future episodes coming up, more essentials. So yeah, just keep your ears focused on the hub world and your eyes peeled. There's going to be a lot of fantastic content in the works. We're really excited to be working on. So once again, thank you for listening, and we will see you in about a week
little bit.
for episode 33. So
Sounds
once
good.
again, thanks guys. See you later.
Bye.
Yep.